Coach, now being here for a few seasons, playing in some unbelievable FSU Carolina games, just what is it about these games that just always seems to bring the high drama?
Obviously, storied history between these two programs. Obviously, going to be a little different without Anson on the sidelines, right? A national champion 22 times, right? And you look at what Mark did here, winning 3 national championships, plus ours last year. Nobody's won more national championships than these two programs. Nobody's won more ACC championships than these two programs. So, in all things considered, should be another massive battle. A lot on the line from a standing standpoint, from an RPI standpoint, all the above.
Is it kind of weird for you knowing that Coach Torrance isn't going to be on the other side?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's weird for all of us, you know. Kind of sad because of what he's done for this game, what he's done for this league. Always been a champion of this league in women's soccer. But this is life, you know. Robbie Church going out this year as well at Duke, right? Obviously, Mark, you know, no longer being here, right? Such is life. So Damon's done a great job this fall. They're 14-2, number 1 in the RPI, and all focus will be on the players in the game Friday night.
You talked about mojo last week. Some mojo back, if not back. I mean, obviously you guys scored 7 at Pitt, 4 against Virginia. Just last week, how big was it for the girls, especially now you get UNC and then finish on the road at Miami?
Yeah, all a big deal. You know, from a team confidence standpoint, from a goal scoring standpoint, right? It's how we want to play. We want to have our, you know, foot on the gas and make teams uncomfortable and try and play in their half as much as possible. And I think we're starting to show that again, which is obviously nice to see for a lot of reasons. It's the time of the year you want things coming together.
So I know you just talked about the switch from Anson to Damon. Without, you know, giving away too much of your strategy, have you seen any big changes that Damon has implemented on film that are make them a little bit different than what you saw when Anson was in control?
Good question. I mean, and Anson wasn't shy about this. Damon's been doing a lot within that program for a number of years, and so I think Damon's fingerprints have been all over this program for quite a while, right? And the last time we played them, 1 year ago in September, they played a 3-6-1, very possession-oriented, and I think that's Damon Nahas, right? And so I don't think there's been much of a change this fall. I think Damon's a smart guy, and he'd be foolish to all of a sudden, you know, take a sharp right turn, right, the day Anson walks out the door. But I don't think he's needed to do that because he's been doing a lot of coaching for a while now. So I think they've dabbled between this 3-6-1 and sometimes a 4-2-3-1 based on who they're playing and probably how they're feeling. They've had players in and out of the lineup based on injury and national team stuff. So I don't really think so. You know, I don't think so. At the end of the day, I'm sure Damon would say this, at the end of the day, everything had still always been Anson's call. Anson's been the head coach, and Anson, you know, we joke in our office that Mark Krikorian's the godfather around these parts. Anson's the godfather around those parts. So now it's, you know, the final say is obviously Damon.
Coach, like you said, they're number 1 in the RPI, your spot in the ACC standings. Just how important is it to get a result on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, it matters a lot. But I think, you know, this is not downplaying. I mean, it's a big opponent. It's a big game. We want to play well, right? And we want to show the best version of ourselves. It's not really, the end goal is getting to the NCAA tournament and making a deep run there. From an RPI standpoint, this game might shift us a couple points one way or the other, may have some influence obviously on some home field stuff, but I just want, you know, the game's going to come down to moments, right? And I want our team to be competitive, right, and give themselves a chance. And there's no doubt we're going to do that. We're going to come out flying. Going to be an amazing crowd. It's senior night, all the things, right? These are nights where, as a coach, you really just don't have to say much, right? You pretty much, yeah, we're going to have some tactics, but then once it's an hour inside of game time, it's you guys go play. And they're going to have plenty of energy. I'm sure we're going to put ourselves in a position to win the game. Carolina's probably going to do some things that's going to put themselves in a position to win the game. And then at the end of 90 minutes, we'll see where things rest.
Kind of following up on that, you had said last week you guys really haven't been talking about standings or anything. Do you feel like that kind of just lifts some pressure off the girls to let them go play freely, and especially in a game that will come down to moments?
Yeah, and I told them the first time we talked about standings was after the Pitt game. And I told them that I had not looked at standings. And as we sit here right now, I still haven't looked at standings, right? And so they don't matter. And I think the first time they will matter is before we go to Miami. And the only reason why they'll matter is it might impact our travel schedule, right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, it doesn't matter, right? All that matters are what are the things that we need to do to give ourselves a chance to play and to beat Carolina. Nothing else matters. Tons of other really good games, right? If you're interested in watching other good games, then it matters.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing matters but what happens here Friday night.
Coach, Jordan Dudley, last game or so, has been spent a lot of time on the ground. Seems like coaches are saying, we need to be physical with her,
Yep.
As good as she is
Yep.
and how athletic she is. We don't
Yep.
want to let her have space and free reign because she's so dangerous.
Yep.
Have you talked with her a little bit about that, about how they're playing her, I'm sure she's seen it before, but in the last game she seemed to get a little bit frustrated. She got the yellow card when she grabbed the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that, you want to just talk to a little bit to where she understands, she needs to be prepared for the tactics that they're going to have against her?
Yeah, I think she's. This isn't new this year. We put a video together a year ago and sent it to the head of officials in the ACC because she was getting annihilated and hair was getting pulled. All these things, right? We were and have been for her first year and a half here playing in a 4-3-3 where she's a solo striker against two center backs, right? And that was part of the rationale to go into this two-front is to now there's still moments where in an individual moment you can do what you want to Jordan Dudley, but it's a little bit harder, right? Versus 2v1 situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sunday got a little, I don't know if scary is the right word, but a little out of hand in those 5 minutes, and that's why we just took her out to protect her. And our job will always be to protect her. We think she can protect herself at the same time, and she's a woman, she really is. And, we took her off to protect her physically, but then obviously when she got the yellow, we didn't want to lose her, right, going into the next game. But these are conversations we've had, honestly, unfortunately, for the last year and a half.
Anything else?